Hi, you guys. So I just wanted to come on today and talk a little bit about divine feminine and stepping into that. Because as women, I feel that number one, well, everyone has been taught to really be more in our masculine. Being in our masculine is more accepted. We're going to be more successful. We're going to have a better life if we operate from our masculine. And it's just not the truth, especially for women. We're so disconnected from the feminine, and it's because that's been conditioned over thousands of years because people were literally afraid of the feminine power. So they did everything that they could to try to diminish it. And for that reason, we don't actually know how to operate from our feminine often. We don't have that many examples of women who are very successful that operate from their feminine energy. They're usually very masculine. And it's something that I've been working on myself the last 2 years. Once I left my corporate job a couple years ago, it was like, wow, I'm really operating from the masculine in so many elements of my life. And it felt like it was making things so much more difficult. It felt like it was really going up against the grain of like who I was and how I wanted to do things. And so I started learning about this masculine and feminine energies and how we can balance them and how it's actually going to make our lives so much easier and so much more fulfilling when we're able to utilize both of those energies. So I wanted to just share a bit about this because it's been coming up in so many readings, especially now is really collectively we're going through this rising of the divine feminine, especially with so much about mental health awareness coming up and allowing ourselves to be more vulnerable emotionally, feeling our emotions in general, using our emotions as a GPS. And for me, I just wanted to share a couple of tips that I've been giving people that I started with that helps me start to even be able to access this, because we're conditioned so deeply that, like I said before, sometimes we don't even know how to access this at all, how to tap into it. And when we do, your ego, your conditioning, your self-sabotage is going to come up with whatever beliefs you have around, being out of that hardworking, masculine, action-oriented, productive vibe. So the first things that I started doing, and it's changed a lot over the years, but first you have to kind of like tippy-toe your way in, I think. And it's starting to bring more beauty and slowness into your life. So for me, what I started doing first was looking at the way that I dressed and the way that I presented myself. And, coming from corporate, what I would wear to my corporate job was pretty masculine. Even if it was like, cute and from Express or whatever, it was still not the way my soul wanted me to dress. So I tried to tap into that goddess energy. So I was like, if I was a goddess, which I am, how would I dress? How would I present myself? What colors would I wear? You can also think about this as your higher self. If you see your higher self in meditations, or if you connect with her in any way, what does she look like? What is she wearing? She's probably, well, I'm not going to say what she's wearing because everybody has different, different style. But for me, I started wearing a lot more color. I started wearing white a lot more. I started wearing my hair down more. And during that phase, I was like doing a lot more. So I was doing my hair all the time, and I was using more color in my makeup and in a way that made me feel good and feel sexy and feel really feminine and feel just really good about myself. And so starting to shift up, just noticing, like in one of my readings yesterday, the woman was saying, I wear black all the time. So we were talking about wearing more white, wearing more colors that make you feel excited and alive. So that's one thing that you can do. Beautifying your space, even like putting flowers around, making your space not just like, oh, this is where I live. If I was a queen, how would I want my space to look? If I had all the money in the world, how would I want my space to look? And we can do this in a way, I was sharing with that same client yesterday, we can do this in a way that doesn't have to like break the bank. Like you can do it in a way that makes you feel safe, but also makes you feel safe and comfortable, but you also can bring that beauty in. But it's also taking slow moments throughout the day to appreciate things. When you're eating your food, taking a moment to appreciate it, not just like shoveling it down while you're on your lunch break and you have 10 minutes to finish your food. Like, wow, thank you for this nourishment. I'm appreciative for the farmer who grew this. I'm appreciative for the truck driver who drove this from the farm to the grocery store. I'm appreciative for the clerk who put it on the shelf so that I could have this nourishment. I'm appreciative for the person who made this food, or I'm thankful that I had the time to make this food and, support my body today. Really taking the time to acknowledge things and be present in your day-to-day moments. And really, it's, to me, I think a great way to explain it is just like, if you were a queen, how would you act? How would you expect people to act around you? And from there, for me, a lot of the conditioning that came up was around, you know, you need to work hard in order to be successful, or you need to, it was a lot about working hard and being productive. That's such a huge, that, like, try to just rest for a few days. Try to not have nothing on your plan for a few days and notice the thoughts that come up. You're lazy, you're not doing, you need to be doing more. How are you going to make any money by doing this? Whatever the thoughts are that come up, noticing that's all conditioning. Who told us that we needed to work extraordinarily hard to be happy and to get what we want? Usually when we work harder, we're less happy. So those are just a couple tips. There's so much more we could talk about feminine, masculine energy, but that's kind of the first few things that I started doing to tap more into this so that I could start operating from a space of creativity and inspiration, not what do I feel like I have to do, what are other people telling me I have to do, but really operating from a space of my soul and living from my intuition, basically. Because in the masculine, it's I'll say in the toxic masculine, that is not appreciated, that is not approved. People are going to give you a lot of backlash for that, and you'll probably receive some of that, and it's part of this process, I feel like, of stepping into that queen vibe of like, this is how I choose to live my life, this is how I choose to operate, and really becoming very discerning about how you want to live. Human design also is a really great way to support yourself in this. So I'm not going to talk all about human design, but there's a couple different types, and we all operate really differently. And once you learn how you operate, that's going to help support you as well in figuring out, you know, how can I step more into this balance of the masculine and feminine that support me in my highest, that allow me to have all of my goals come to fruition, that allow me to dream big and allow things to come to me. Because when we're operating from a space that we really enjoy what we're doing, we enjoy the way that we're doing it, we feel like we are utilizing our energy in the highest, it just changes everything. So anyways, message me if you want some more information about this. I could go on for ages about masculine and feminine energy. It's so fascinating to me. But try on some of these tips for a week or for a few days and see how you feel different. See how you operate from a different space, even really subtly. And have fun.